Hello children, good morning. In today's class, we'll begin a new chapter, that is chapter number 7 in history, and the name of the chapter is New Ideas. So in this chapter, we should understand the different reasons that led to the rise of Buddhism in the 6th century BC. So children, the period between 800 BC to 600 BC, here BC means before Common Era, witnessed religious awakening in the Indian society. Post-Vedic society was clearly divided into four varnas, that of the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. Each varna was assigned well-defined functions. Varna system was based on birth. The two higher varnas enjoyed power, prestige, and privileges. The Vaishyas were engaged in agriculture, cattle rearing, and trade. They were also the principal taxpayers. The Shudras served the three higher varnas. This Varn-divided society obviously generated tensions as the Vedic rituals had become rigid. Another reason for the social unrest was the spread of agricultural economy and settled life. So, children, the use of iron tools enabled clearance of forest areas, agriculture, and large settlements. On the other hand, the Vedic practice of killing cattle for sacrifices was widely prevalent. This made the people involved in agriculture unhappy with the Brahmins. So, in the 6th century BC, there emerged many teachers and philosophers who preached doctrines of practical nature. Among them, the most important was Gautam Buddha. So, children, we should know the causes for the emergence of the new ideas. They are discontent with the caste system, dissatisfaction with the Vedic practice of sacrificing cattle, rise of the cities in central India, which brought social, political, and economic changes. Social unrest due to breakdown of tribal unity, desire among the common people for a simple language which could be understood by all. So Buddhism came. We should know about the Buddhism. Buddhism is the religion and the philosophy that developed from the teachings of the Gautam Buddha. He was a teacher who lived in northern India between mid 6th and mid 4th centuries BC. So Gautam Buddha was born in 563 BC and his name was Siddharth, and he was born in Lumbini near Kapilvastu, which is present in Nepal. Present day it is in Nepal. So his father was King Suddhodana of the Sakya clan of Kapilvastu. His mother Maya died 7 days after his birth. He was reared by his mother sister Mahaprajapati. The prince enjoyed an luxurious life in the royal palace. When he was 16 years of age, he married to the beautiful princess Yashodhara, and the turning point came in his life when he was 29 years old. He went on a ride through the city in his chariot. There he saw an old man, a sick person, and a dead body being carried to the cremation ground. And finally, he saw a mendicant seated in meditation beneath a tree. These encounters, known as Four Great Sights, left a deep impression on his mind. He renounced his royal life and entered the forest. He became a monk in search of truth and knowledge. So over the next 6 years, Buddha practiced meditation in Bodh Gaya. While meditating under a peepal tree in Bodh Gaya, he attained enlightenment. He came to be known as Buddha or the Enlightenment One. So here you can see Lumbini is present in Nepal. Here he was born. Buddha spent the 45 years after being enlightened in traveling and preaching. He died at the age of 80 at Kusinagar in eastern Uttar Pradesh in 483 BC. Here you can see Kusinagar in eastern UP, where he left his body. Buddha believed in equality of all men. He disapproved of the caste system, which divided the society on the basis of birth. He strongly opposed rituals, sacrifices, and ceremonial worship. Buddha preached nonviolence, or ahimsa. He was against the Vedic sacrifices which led to the killing of the animals for the purpose. In those times, Sanskrit was the language of the upper caste. All religious teachings and rituals were carried out in Sanskrit. The common people spoke in Pali and Prakrit, so they could not follow much of the religious teachings of the Brahmins. So Buddha preached in the language of Pali, which everyone could understand. Here, preached means giving the religious message. So Buddha laid emphasis on the attainment of nirvana, that means liberation from the cycle of birth and death. For this, he suggested the Eightfold Path. And the central to Buddha's teachings are the Four Noble Truths. They are: life has inevitable suffering. There is a cause to our suffering. That means suffering is caused by our desires. And there is an end to suffering. That means suffering ends when our desire ends. And the end to suffering is contained in the Eightfold Path, which means freedom from suffering is possible by practicing the Eightfold Path. So Buddha preached the Eightfold Path for a well-ordered life. It was a set of principles to help an individual lead a virtuous life. And the principles are as follows: right thinking, right knowledge, right action, right observation, right speech, right living, right effort, right meditation. Buddha believed in the middle path and rejected both extreme luxury and extreme asceticism. The people who followed the Buddha and his teachings are known as Buddhists. The teachings of Buddha are mainly compiled in three books called Tripitakas. These are follows: Vinaya Pitaka, Abhidhamma Pitaka, and Sutta Pitaka. The earliest Buddhist texts were written in Pali, which was spoken in Magadha and was basically a form of Prakrit. And the next one is Buddhist art and architecture. The next one is Buddhist art and architecture. Buddhist monuments and sculptures are found in many places. There are three types of structures which is associated with Buddhism. They are stupas, monasteries, and temples. Stupas are large hemispherical domes with a central chamber. The relics of Buddha or other monks were placed in beautifully carved caskets. These caskets were kept inside the central chambers, and it is built of unburned brick, and other structure is made of burnt brick, which is covered with plaster. At the top of stupa there is a stone or a wooden umbrella. It is surrounded by a wooden fence enclosing a path, which means it is meant for the ceremonial pradakshina. And the next one is monasteries. It represents the buildings or complex of buildings where the Buddhist monks and nuns lived in during the rainy season. It includes prayer hall, sleeping quarters, covered walk, dining hall, library, and sanatorium. Sanatorium means a room for the sick person. Initially, the monasteries were built of wood, but after that, they were constructed of bricks. Some monasteries became centers of Buddhist education and learning. And the next one is temple. These are also called as chaitya. These were long rectangular halls with rows of pillars erected on both sides with an apsidal at the rear end. It was similar to the Roman design in concept of column and arch. Several rock-cut chaityas have been found at Nasik, Kanheri, Ajanta, and Karne. So Buddhist order, the disciples of Buddha who were ordained as monks and nuns formed the Sangha. And the spread of Buddhism, the teachings of Buddha were spread far and wide by his followers and monks. Buddhism also spread to areas outside India like China, Japan, Myanmar, Tibet, and Sri Lanka. This is the temple of Buddha. So that's all about for today's class. Thank you and have a nice day.